chill on the couch with us.
Hello, welcome back to The Couch. I'm sitting on the couch today because I wanted to be very relaxed when I speak to my next guest. He's been a fantastic media personality for years. He knows everything about show business. He's on radio all around Australia and also TV. And today he's on the couch and I'm really honoured to have him. Peter Ford, all the way from Melbourne. Thank you for being on the couch today.
Oh, good day, Fred. I'm thrilled to talk to you. I watch you on Aurora, and I wish I was there on your couch rather than sitting here on my couch.
And we would welcome you, and I'd probably feed you as well, because we've got chocolates and pizza and all these sort of things here. Did you see me on the footy show the other day, Peter?
I did, actually. You turn up everywhere.
I know. It's the first time I've ever been on national television on a commercial station, but I was disappointed, Peter. I thought they'd put me as full forward.
Well, your time may yet come. I think that really wasn't your true calling, Fred. I think
agree.
where you are right now is where you were meant to be.
But Peter, your true calling is entertainment and show business. You know everything.
Well, I know everything, and what I don't know, I'll make up, basically.
Well, I
don't do that too often, but I've always been involved in the entertainment business, not as a performer as such, and in fact, for the first 15 or so years that I was in the media game, I was very much a behind-the-scenes person as a radio producer for radio shows and for TV shows, and then by accident, more or less, I ended up going on camera and on air, and I went with the flow, and I was making some money out of it, so I thought, why not? But I never actually had any sort of intense desire to ever be on camera.
And being for all those years on the show business trail, you've seen so much come and go in the way of television and entertainment. How do you compare it?
You're aging me, Fred. You're making me sound like I was a Titanic survivor or something.
No, nobody survived that one.
Well, the game has changed quite a bit, obviously. It's an evolving thing that the media game is, and even just in the last, 10 years, it's evolved even more extraordinarily with the advent of the internet and now with what they call the social media, which is the Facebook and the Twitter and this immediacy of information, and with celebrities putting out their own statements all the time. The game's changed a lot.
Do you think it's changed for the better? Because, I'm one of those people, I don't use a lot of the social stuff like Facebook and Twitter. I don't like it myself. But
well, I think in many respects, yes, it is for the better, but I think it does make a lot of people in the media game lazy. I think they now consider research to be going on Wikipedia or Google and typing in what it is they want to know something about. It has given rise to about 3,874 show business reporters in Australia now, whereas there used to be just like a handful of us. We had it to ourselves. Now all of these kids who've got access to an internet terminal are getting on, and they're just getting onto Perez Hilton's website or TMZ, and they just parrot the information that somebody else has done the work on. So that sort of plagiaristic aspect of the game is, I find, quite irksome, but there's nothing much you can do with it.
Well, tell me about the current TV, because I'm one of these people that grew up with Young Talent Time years ago, 20 years ago, and I'm one of these people that seeing the new Young Talent Time, it just doesn't cut it for me. And obviously Australians haven't really taken to it.
No, it's a great shame because there'd been this momentum for so many years of let's bring back Young Talent Time, and Johnny was pushing it for such a long time and he wasn't getting much response, and then suddenly Channel 10 came to him and said, we'd like to do Young Talent Time. And he said, oh great, I've been wanting this for 10 years. And I don't know, maybe you just can't turn back the clock. Johnny was always very, very conscious that you had to be a show for 2012. You couldn't be locked in a time warp in the way that Hey It's Saturday was when that came back.
See, what's happened?
And I think for some reason it just has not taken, sadly.
What do you think the failure was of Hey It's Saturday and Daryl Summers? I know he worked really hard to bring it back. What happened to it?
Well, I think it was Daryl Summers. Daryl is one of those people who does tend to polarise audiences, but to me it was like the show had just never moved on. Yep. I think if you're going to try and revive something that's been dormant for a long time, and as you know, distance lends enchantment in our minds, things we thought were incredibly funny and clever, and if you go on YouTube and look back at some old clips, you think, oh, God, that was pretty lame, wasn't it? But
I agree.
And I think Daryl just tried to turn back the clock, and I don't think he made much effort at all to really be a show for now. It was really just a nostalgia trip, which is great for 1 or 2 nights. But
Yes.
and, you know, when they did those one-off specials, that was all good fun, seeing how people looking and what they're doing, etc. But if you're going to be an ongoing proposition, you've got to evolve.
Yes, and talking about shows that are popular for 1 or 2 nights, Channel 10 have had some problems in the last few weeks in regards to profits and ratings. Everything they try seems to fail. What's your take on that, Peter?
Well, it's interesting. They're backing a lot of things at the moment that are reasonably expensive, but are just not pulling in crowds. You know, starting the day with their breakfast show, which we had all this hype about, and it was going to be revolutionary, and it's going to change the face of TV. And they got this bloke over from New Zealand who I know and I personally find very funny.
I do too.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was ever quite going to take with the public. You know, it's one thing for a Sam Newman to be a smart aleck and to send things up, but when you're from another country and you've been brought in, people think, who are you to start sending up our things, you know, because, you know, you're a New Zealander, how dare you? So I think that was the problem that he had. Then you've got the project, that's not working, Young Talent Time hasn't worked for them. You're right, there's a lot of things there, and of course at the same time, this pit of debt is getting bigger and bigger for them, and it's a big worry.
What do you think the future is with Australian TV, Peter? We've got a whole heap of new shows coming in, a lot of these reality shows. Is that the way we need to go?
Look, I think TV is one of those things. It's like the weather. We get it for free, so we love to complain about it. It's never right, it's never good enough. But when you look at the shows that are on air at the moment, we've got a pretty good diet. There's a whole mixed bag of shows that are on, some of them very expensive and lavish. There's lots of talent quest shows. There's lots of musical variety type shows. There are your tacky reality TV shows too. I reckon it's pretty good, actually.
Yep.
You know, and some people have pay TV, some people don't. Even if you haven't, you've got a big selection of channels now that you can access and get some pretty good stuff. And it's a case of sitting down and working out what is worthwhile and what isn't. But, you know, it's good for us to complain about, isn't it?
Can I get your tips of maybe the big shows you reckon are going to be successful this year?
Well, I think we are at the moment still loving TV talent shows, and I think we love music, we love people dancing around. I think Dancing with the Stars is going to go well again this season. The Voice, I think, is another one. Just on hype alone, these shows have got people roped in. So, and we've got some pretty good dramas coming along too. They're currently doing this show, which is the story of Kerry Packer and World Series cricket, and that's going to be very much, well, a lot of it will be centred in the West, actually, and people will be portraying people like Dennis Lilly. So that's going to be a really big one towards the end of the year.
And I think Puberty Blues is coming on 10 as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Gee, talk about dusting off an old chestnut. Even I barely remember the movie Puberty Blues. So, but it was a good one, and Kathy Lett's behind this one too. So I think that could be one to watch.
And Peter, I'm one of these people that loves Prisoner. Now, I believe Foxtel are bringing it back. I watch it on 111 Hits.
Yeah.
It's coming back on Channel W. Foxtel bring it back. It's called Wentworth. What do you know about that?
Well, you've got your own ironing press at home, haven't you? And practice a bit, don't you?
I do.
Get the denims on. And look, well, they're saying it's a kind of a spin-off more of Prisoner rather than just being a continuation.
Yes.
It's a little bit vague. They are saying some characters may come back, but certainly there'll be references to the old characters. I mean, you know, the old show for its day was pretty I can't say the word innovative. Is that right?
Yes.
You know, they had a lot of actresses there who were not necessarily big name people, but they were good, solid theatre actresses, and they had meaty scripts, and that was really a show ahead of its time. So and some of those characters like Vinegar Tits and the Freak and Bee and Doreen, they were great. People still talk about them and use some of those expressions and make, you know, references to things like the ironing press as I just did. So I think on curiosity alone, I think the revival or the spin-off, if you like, of Prisoner will really go well.
Sounds fantastic. We're going to hang out until Prisoner starts again because I'm going to be watching it.
You betcha.
Thank you very much. Peter, what do you do when you like to relax, when you're not working?
Well, my work, I actually love my work. I'm one of those people who's really lucky that I've turned into what would be probably my pastime into a working, going thing of my career. So if I wasn't getting paid for it, I think I would be probably labelled a stalker. But because I get paid for it, I'm labelled as an entertainment reporter.
Fantastic reporter you are. Where can we catch you during the week around Australia? You're on radio?
Yeah, in Perth, you can catch me with Burjo on 6IX. You can catch me on 6PR with Tony McManus and with Millsy on The Breakfast Show. I'm on Sunrise on Channel 7. I'm on A Current Affair on Channel 9. I'm like the mad woman's breakfast, Fred, and sooner or later I will get there and be sitting opposite you.
Thank you very much. I'll look forward to that.
Thank you, mate.